Hey guys, so we are going to be doing a sketchbook warm-up today on a piece of paper, but we're actually going to use the same piece of paper for the next 3 to 4 classes. So to do that, we're going to start just by dividing our paper into 4 sections. So you want to line from top to bottom and side to side. As you can see, I didn't use a ruler. It's okay if it's a little off. And today, our first facial feature, we are going to see what you are working with. So we're going to focus on eyes today. Now you are going to be doing it step by step with me to get started, and then you are going to work on some on your own. There we go. So we're nice and zoomed in here. So when you go to draw your eyes, we always start with 3 circles, and that's going to be the eyeball. It's okay if your circle's not perfect. Then we're going to have our iris, which is the color part of our eye, and then our pupil. I'm going to go ahead and fill in that pupil nice and dark. I'm going to add the lines or some color for my iris. So this starts to look like an actual eyeball and not a target. So now that we know how we have our eyeball, if you look in the mirror, you can see that your top eyelid and your bottom eyelid actually goes over that eyeball, holding it into place. And most people can't see the top and the bottom of the whites of their eyes. They can only see it on the sides. So I'm going to start by drawing a right eye. So that means my tear duct is going to be over here. So I'm going to start by figuring out where my tear duct is, which is about right here. And then my top eyelid, I am going to follow. Mine goes up, reaches just the top of that iris, and comes right back down on the other side. So notice we're getting rid of all of this part of that eyeball. So go ahead and draw your top eyelid. Now that you've drawn your top eyelid, we can go ahead and do the bottom. So mine actually comes in a little bit, then goes back and out to that corner. So we will have a little space where it's pink and pink for that tear duct and where our eye is. And I can go ahead and erase some of that eyeball. Now the cool part is where your eyelid creases is where that eyeball would be. So I would actually I have a double crease on mine, and I'm a little tired, so I have some lines here. I can even notice that the line of my eyelid is actually 2D. So I have some hair coming off of that, just like I have some eyelashes coming up there. So what I want you to do right now, and I'll give you a few minutes, is we want to go ahead and redraw that eye again. Now you can do one on the other side, which I think I'm going to. Step 1, we want to draw our 3 circles. So our eyeball, our iris, and our pupil. You can add those details if you would like. Usually your iris has a little bit of a darker outline. Then we're going to find our tear duct, and we're going to look in the mirror to figure out how our eyes look. So mine actually comes up and goes back down. So I have a wide area here. Then it dips in, comes back around, and goes. So this one is actually a little bit closer to what my eye actually looks like. Then of course we're going to use that eyeball as a gauge to where those lines would go for my eyelid and my lines underneath. You can even go in and add those eyelashes. Remember, they're not always perfect. They're smaller towards the center and then they get longer. And we can even add our eyebrow, which comes straight up from the eye, a 45 and a 45. So it'll actually go right across and down at an angle. But we'll look at that a little bit more in the second one. If you need to, go ahead and pause your video and draw your eye. Now, welcome back from your pause if you paused it. The last thing that I want you to do today is I want you to draw a pair of eyes. And in case you did not notice, we have 5 eyes that go all the way across our forehead. So we would actually have one eyeball, one in the center where our nose is, and another one on the side. So we want to make sure that we have enough space in between our eyeballs. Now that we know where our first circles go, we can add our second and third circles. Again, we can add our second and third circles. So now we have 2 sets of eyes. We don't need one here because that's where the nose is going to go. We can add in those lines if we want to. highlights if you want to. And now I want to look where my tear duct is. So again, up here, I had it a little higher up, and you can look at where it lines up. Mine is about level with my actual iris. So I can go ahead and make my lines, and I figure out where those go. Then again, I'm going to follow my eyelid up and back down, up and back down. And I'm trying to really find the shape of my eye as I do this. And of course, our eyes are sisters, but not twins, or brothers and not twins. So you do want to look at each eye. That doesn't mean that they're going to be exactly the same. My one on this side actually doesn't droop. It droops a little bit more than the other one. So I actually have more space down here than I do on that one. I can even see where the pink tissue is for the tear ducts and on the side over here. And of course, I want to look to where my actual creases are, where they start. They actually start closer. There we go. And the same with down here. Now your eyebrows are the same. They start at your eyeball and go up. Remember, there are 45 from the pupil and then out. Now, that's where ideally your eyebrows go, but I have very short eyebrows and my eyebrows are pretty close. So I want to look at the space between the crease and where my eyebrow starts to figure out where I want that eyebrow. So mine kind of comes over and it does just a little bit of a hook. I lived through the 90s, so they're not the best. Now I can do the same thing here. Now it's not realistic to leave your eyebrow looking just like this outline. So you can always lighten that up, and then you want to look at the general direction of your eyebrow hair. Now mine goes up and then it kind of starts tilting out. Some of you guys have some longer eyebrows, some fuller eyebrows. I'll make mine the skinny ones that they are and trim them up. If only trimming eyebrows was actually that easy, right? And then I want to come over and do the same thing on this side. So you do want to make sure that while you are drawing on your own, not only are you drawing two eyes, but you're drawing your eyebrows. And if you finish early, you can even come back in and start adding some value, because we can already tell that this gap here is going to be where that nose goes. So it gives us an idea of how we can not only draw those facial features, but line them up to where our next one is going to go. I look forward to seeing your eyes today, and we'll figure out what we're doing next class. Thank you.